right, welcome into YardPrep on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, turn the notifications on. Follow me, Ethan J. Skolnick at 5 Reasons Sports. We've got, I'll mention him last. We got Louis Sugg. You can find him at Louis D. Sugg on Twitter. Of course, he's here with you every Tuesday night for Pulse of Fins Nation. We got Eric Wadicki, part of our Prize Picks team and our Dolphins team here. You can also catch him on the Extra Yard. And we've got Free Reek up here in the left corner, our guy Rod Caniff. You can follow him at Rod Caniff NFL and also on Pulse of Fins Nation. All right, so the big news today, of course, before we get, well, first let me mention Prize Picks. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E, put down $5, and they give you 50. That's their new promotion. Pretty cool. $5. They give you 50. No questions asked, no gimmicks, no nothing. You can play it right away. You can download Prize Picks from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store or PrizePicks.com. All right, the big news, of course, is that Tyreek Hill, his prop is 98.5 yards. No, that's actually not the big news. So let me give you the latest from the stadium here. Drew Rosenhaus, for those of you not aware, we actually drove in and some media saw it. Will Manso actually took a grainy video that looked like one of mine, went right by it. Tyreek Hill detained by police. Detained may be a loose word for it. He was in handcuffs on the ground for a moving violation of some kind. And Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, who has been doing this for 30 years. I can remember him doing this for the likes of Daryl Gardner back in 1997. Out there on TV, he was on with Cameron Wolf. He's talking to others about the fact that basically they're planning to take some kind of action here. So they feel that he was wrongly detained. There were some rumors about sort of how he acted when he was detained. But again, supposedly a moving violation, and that he's going to be available to play. There's no other statement from the Dolphins. The only statement has been from Drew, who's making the rounds right now. So let's get to that at the very start here. Does anybody expect this to have an impact on today's game? Lewis, I'll let you start. Ron, you go after Lewis?
Yes. Finn's going off.
I'll go ahead.
Before. Motivating factor. Big time motivating factor right here, in my opinion.
What do you think, Lewis? What do you think?
I mean, I'm sure that Tyreek is pissed. I'm sure that Tyreek wants to prove a point now because, I'm sure there will be something along the lines of, you can't stop the cheetah. Nothing can stop the cheetah. Not even forces outside the game can stop the cheetah. Or, I don't know. They're going to go with something about that. Christopher Mitz in the chat. Take all the Prize Picks considering Tyreek in his favor. Yes, I'm actually setting that up right now because I'm using the Caleb Williams free square, and I'm going to add a Tyreek square to that. So with that being said, will this impact the game? Yes, it's just going to make the team even more motivated to say, you know what? Screw all y'all. We're going to go and just wreck somebody today.
Can I ask why Tyreek doesn't just take an Uber? Am I allowed to ask that question?
Because what's the point of having a shiny car if you can't drive it?
Yeah, what's the point of having a Lamborghini or whatever it is he has?
All right. Well, there you go. Anyway, all right. So that's the latest on that. Is expected to play. Do we have the rest of the inactives yet? We do not. Right. We're waiting on those. 12 noon. Is that where? What are we anticipating with that? I want to get your thoughts on this. Let's go to Duke on this. On the elevation that was made of Chosen, and also the fact not Ezukama. Is Ezukama ready to play? Because that's a question. Because I saw CK's thread on this, but I don't know that we have confirmation that he's healthy.
That would probably be my guess, is that he's not healthy and they need another guy, so they're bringing up Chosen. I'm interested to see what Dubose does. If he's active, I assume he would be, but to see what he offers and brings to the table. It's kind of sucks that Malik is out. I was hoping to see him, but I think just a matter of health for Ezekama, in my opinion.
Okay, all right. So that's it. But they're pretty thin at receiver, though, right, Eric? Again, it's a good thing Tyreek can play. Otherwise, he would have been playing those Waddle props over 12 receptions. You and I did a show on Prize Picks before this, so I'm going to reference it here a little bit. That there has to be a third target, right? So your view on the third target is?
My view on the third target is a combination of
the guy that you sniped me with.
Yeah.
We're in the same fantasy league for context. I wanted John to be grabbed him before I could.
There you go.
So that those it's just a combination of Johnny Smith and Devon Etienne are going to be your third option today. And I think that's just fine for them.
John, by the way, that was my play. 2.5 receptions or 3 targets today. Seems pretty simple. He threw to Durham Smythe a ton. You've got a better target there in that case. All right, on the defense, I'll go to Freereek up here in the left corner. Are we concerned? I mean, we don't have an update on Jaylen yet, right? There's so many Jaylens. I'm talking about Ramsey.
Real quick, if you want, I've got the inactives.
Okay, go ahead.
The inactives are Wright, Bonner, Tyndall, Kamara, Andrew Meyer, and Malik Washington. We knew so. So there you go. Those are the inactives. So, and what was your question again, Ethan?
Well, no, well, actually, let's start there before we go to Ramsey. So Ramsey's active. Okay, that's the first thing. Yes. Second thing, there was a lot of buzz about Kamara in camp, and a couple of these other. I mean, any thoughts on the inactives in general as you read them out?
Yeah, especially when it comes to the defensive end. Feel like maybe they really are feeling like Jaylen Phillips is ready to go full speed 100% and feeling good about him. I thought maybe, even though they said he wouldn't be on a quote unquote pitch count, that maybe he would kind of be there and they'd be mixing in a lot of guys. But I mean, I think they feel Phillips is a 100% go and good to go. So I think that's encouraging. Now, I'd like to see Kamara in there, but I think it's an encouraging sign in that regard.
All right, I'd like to point out, very interestingly, it's Ethan Bonner who's listed as inactive, which means that Storm Duck is going to be getting playing time over Bonner, which is very interesting to me.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Okay, so yeah, that's one right there. Well, and again, Bonner was a guy who got a lot of buzz in camp. I always ignore the buzz in camp in the last week and a half because the coaches typically are playing guys for different reasons. All right, but we mentioned Phillips, Lewis. It's personally, I just want to say it's remarkable he's back. I mean, just now that he's officially back for this game. Did you think he'd be back when that happened?
I never had a doubt. Never
really?
Had a doubt. Not a single moment. No, this man is a freak of nature. And truth be told, the advancements in medicine. Listen, I know of all the talk about with Aaron Rodgers and his Achilles and all the weird stuff that he was doing to recover from it. And truth be told, as somebody who does practice like holistic medicine, I am one who takes that stuff into account. I watched my mother get back from a meniscus tear when a doctor told her if she didn't get surgery, she would never walk again. And that turned out to not be the case because she is currently just fine. And now with the advancements in medicine today, with those guys doing what they're doing, for Jaylen Phillips to get back to where he is supposed to be right now, that didn't surprise me even in the slightest. Like injuries, if they really want to get back to it, it's really just not as bad as it used to be back in the day.
Let's Duke on this one. I mean, Chubb's not back yet, so Chop Robinson's going to be in some packages today. What do you expect from him?
I expect we'll see a lot of him on third down. I still think he had some issues in the preseason with setting the edge. I think I mentioned on Tuesday night show, I think they're going to line him up in the middle and let him rush the passer from an interior spot, kind of like a blitzer. So I think we'll see him in a variety of pass rush packages today. I think we'll see a lot of Quentin Bell, especially if the Jacksonville Jaguars decide to run a lot. I don't know what their offense is like. I didn't really watch any of them this preseason. I didn't really pay attention to them last year, but I do know they have Travis Etienne, and he is a big-time player. So if they run the ball, I think we'll see a lot more of Quentin Bell and Emmanuel Ogbah. If they have to pass a lot, I think we'll see a lot of Chop Robinson where they just let him pin his ears back and get after the passer. Even so, I do think we'll see a lot of Quentin Bell and Ogbah just for the fact I think that Phillips will be on a pitch count. So I don't think that we're going to see a lot of Jaylen Phillips today, but we'll see him some.
What's more of a concern to you today, Eric? Is it Etienne or is it Lawrence to Kirk and Ingram?
Definitely Etienne. If there's something about this defense that if I had to pick what I'm less concerned about with this defense, it would be the secondary rather than the front seven. I know that there's maybe more established names in the front seven. You think of Calais Campbell, Zach Sealer, Jordan Brooks. We didn't see the linebacking core. We didn't see this new look linebacking core at all in the preseason. So I just don't know what to expect from them. With the secondary, at least knowing that Jalen Ramsey's going to play, at least knowing that you still have a Kendall Fuller back there, Javon Holland, I'm okay with the secondary, I'm a little bit more concerned about Etienne, if anything.
All right, I'm going to swing around here, and then I'm going to let Lewis take over from you. But I just had a question to go at the very start. Do you think, Lewis, we've talked about it all off season, that finally McDaniel's going to go with the run and stick with the run?
I remember you asked me this last year when we started off at the Brewery.
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking the question.
I am someone who believes that the Miami Dolphins are creatures of habit, for better or worse. I am sure that they will start by letting Raheem Mostert and Devon Etienne just kind of run the ball a little bit, try to get their feet wet, as it were. But I firmly believe that eventually the bad habit will come back. And Tua's going to end up throwing, and it's just going to be like, why are we not giving the ball to our running backs? Maybe somewhere in mid-season, he'll finally turn it on. But I think early on, nah, I think they're just going to it's the moment that Tyreek gets hit on a deep bomb from Tua for a touchdown, McDaniel's going to just smell the blood in the water and say, let's keep going. It's too much. The NFL, whether you like it or not, is a pass-first league. And if you do not have a quarterback that can handle it, you are not going to win. Not anymore. Not with Patrick Mahoming over everybody. So the reality is, if Tua starts off hot, expect it to be a lot of throwing.
Does anybody disagree with Lewis? Does anybody think that McDaniel has seen the god of rushing this offseason? And what do you think?
I kind of agree and disagree. I think the Dolphins are going to be running more this year than last year. I think they're going to have a lot more little tricks and wrinkles in the run game involving the tight ends blocking. They just have more talent there now. They have more talent this year at running back to start the season than they did last year as well. But I think when you need a few yards, a yard, the Dolphins know what butters their bread, and that's throwing the ball. So they're going to run more, yes, but I still feel like when crunch time comes, and they're going to go with what they're the most comfortable with, because even though they're going to run the ball more and they're a great running game, they're not a great just bowl you over, get a yard or two run game. They don't run the ball like that. So that's why they struggle in those short yardage situations. I think they're still going to have a tendency to try and throw a lot of times in those situations.
All right, I got to run, so I'm going to give my pick, and I'm sure you guys will get to your picks here by the end of the show. I'm saying 27-23 Dolphins today. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle maybe than people are anticipating, but ultimately I do think they win today, and I think they get to Lawrence. Actually, I think they're going to get to Lawrence. We know it can be a little shaky in some situations. I'm counting on 2 picks from Trevor today. Not sure he'll get them, and maybe 2-3 sacks. I think we're gonna have a good Chop Robinson debut today. Just have a feeling that, like I said, they've been saving him for some of those sub packages, and I think he'll actually make a big play today. So that's my pick. Just want to mention before I go again, Prize Picks, use the code 5. Also catch Pulse of Fins Nation every Tuesday night 7:30. Inside Leverage Show every Wednesday night at 7:30 as well. And I'm going to be back on Starting 5 starting tomorrow with Dolphins content every Monday and Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Thanks, guys, and be safe out there.
All right, thank you, Ethan, very much. We're going to go ahead and we'll continue on here. So let's go ahead and keep talking about this. So we didn't talk about this during Pulse because I wanted to save it for this pregame show today. So we're going to do our overrated, underrated, and our MVP of the game. So I will go through it with each and every one of you. We'll start with you, Mr. Caniff, whose name is Free Reek for the day. Mr. Caniff, who is your overrated, who is your underrated, and who is your MVP of the game? I suspect I know who the MVP is going to be for every single one of us today, but we'll go ahead and we'll just for the sake of the exercise, go through it.
So to explain to me again, if I say something's underrated, what does that mean?
It means that
they're going to do better.
He's going to do better than you think. Yeah.
Okay. I think Tyreek is going to do better than everybody thinks, and that's just the truth. And that's the honest truth. But what
was the baseline for you, man?
Before being slammed to the ground, I would have thought Jonnu. I think Jonnu is going to have a bigger part in this offense than anybody realizes and is paying attention to. Both taking a few handoffs and catching the ball. So my overrated, probably the middle linebackers. I just don't know about that bunch yet. I'm just not sure. It's not that they're not talented. I just don't understand or how it's all going to fit. I'm concerned about them with the running, like Eric had mentioned before, with stopping the run. I wonder if it's soft there. And my MVP goes to Reek as well. There you go.
All right, Eric, let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, so in the interest of being different, I'm going to go with my overrated today. My overrated today is going to be Jordan Poyer. Just because he's a little bit longer in the tooth, wasn't great last year for Buffalo. He was good, but he wasn't, what we expect Jordan Poyer to be through his career. Not that I think anybody has these great expectations for him, but I think he might show his age a little bit today. On the defensive side of the ball, my underrated player today, I am going to go with Jonnu Smith because I think right now everybody expects Tyreek Hill to go for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns at this point. And I think Jonnu, as Ron said, is going to have a much bigger part in the offense than anyone anticipates. He's probably going to get more rushing attempts than I think a lot of people realize in this offense in those short yardage situations, I think. And then my MVP today is going to be Devon Etienne. I think this is a guy that you're going to get 150 yards from scrimmage and at least 1 touchdown today.
All right, Duke, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to say my overrated player. I'm going to go with Jaylen Phillips. I just think they're going to have him on a pitch count, and he's not going to play as much as we think. So I think that limits his impact. I think we'll see more from the other guys. My underrated player, I'm going to go with the guy who wears a jersey that I'm still waiting on, and that's going to be Liam Eichenberg. I think there's going to be a lot of guys looking at him saying this is the weak link, Tua's going to get destroyed, so on and so forth, and he's going to have a good day. And by a good day, I mean he's not going to give up a lot of sacks, get up a lot of pressure. He's just going to be there. We're probably going to notice him a whole lot, and I'm going to give him some credit for that. For my MVP, I'm going with Tua. I think he has 4 touchdowns today.
Are all of them to Tyreek?
No, I think Waddle gets in there and gets a couple. I think Reek gets 1. And I think Jonnu Smith probably gets 1 as well. Maybe Etienne. I have Waddle and Etienne on a fantasy team. So as long as one of them, or as long as both of them get a touchdown, I'm good.
Oh my gosh, Ron's gonna get us demonetized. I swear, they'll find a reason somewhere to get mad at us.
For those listening and not watching, I just put out a little something on Twitter, but through Discord actually, of Trevor Lawrence in a police officer uniform, which I just found hilarious. So I had to.
Ron's gonna get us in trouble. Okay,
hey, you wanted to do this show with me, man. You said, "Come on, it'll be great." I get what you get.
You know, I love you, man. You know, I love you. Right. So my overrated player. Honestly, I'm gonna go in a little bit of the opposite direction. I'm thinking that the overrated player is gonna be Chop Robinson. I don't think he's going to get as much run as we think he is. Like, I understand, like, even in spite of the fact that Mo Kamara isn't active today, I don't think that this whole Jaylen Phillips pitch count thing, it would be very bizarre to me for Jaylen Phillips, who has been working his way back all this time. He would suddenly be on this pitch count, but Jalen Ramsey, who recently got put on the injury report, and somehow, whether you think it was fake or not because of with his contract extension, like, suddenly, all of a sudden, he's going to play, and they made Ethan Bonner inactive, and they're going to have him playing, or we're going to end up seeing a lot of Storm Duck. I really think this pitch count for Jaylen Phillips, like, they said it, but they didn't say how much the pitch count would be, Like, for all we know, it's a high pitch count. It's a normal pitch count. That's still technically a pitch count. I think we're going to get a lot more Jaylen Phillips than we think, which will limit Chop Robinson's actual play time. He'll be there in obvious passing down situations to try to pressure Trevor Lawrence into making a mistake. But when it comes to running the football with Travis Etienne there, I think that they're going to put more emphasis on guys like Quentin Bell and Emmanuel Ogbah early on. My underrated player, I'm going to go ahead and say I think Raheem Mostert. I understand that everybody's looking at Devon Achane like he's immediately the number 1 running back in this room, that he is the star of the game now. They're going to start it off with Mostert. And I think that Mostert will prove that he's still got it, that he's worthy of getting at least 50% of the snaps at running back. And I think that he's actually going to score a touchdown today. That's just my my personal thoughts on that matter. I think he's going to get at least one touchdown. Okay, can we, Ron, stop.
Sorry, can't help it. Oh, by the way, there's more just as we were talking, there's some good videos out there of what happened, like actually happened. I won't post them now for the show because we'd be spending the whole time.
Yeah, it's more it's a lot more dramatic.
It's not going to be good for the police.
Let's put it this way: Stephen A. Smith, who I put over the coals on Twitter the other day, he's furious over what happened to Tyreek. So make of that what you will. So let's go ahead and continue on. As far as my MVP, Tyreek. I think Tyreek's going to go off like a bomb now because he wants to prove that if you really think you can stop me with this nonsense, I'm going to show you guys that I'm still very much locked in and loaded. We're going to go ahead and we're going to shift over to some prize picks because this is something that we do on game days as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the screen here so we can take a look at the Dolphins props. I've already started opening up some because, by the way, once again, prize picks, use that promo code 5 as Ethan mentioned. You put in $5 of a bet and you can get $50 in promotional funds. I already have some set up for myself, including the Caleb Williams free square. So there is still time to go ahead and get that in. So if you want to get in on that, go ahead and add that to your list here, and you can get some big time monies. All right. So let's go over the list here, gentlemen. Let's take a look at, let's say, receptions. Okay. Or better yet, since I put up Dolphins as my my focus, it gives you all the props that are Dolphins based. So we have Braxton Berrios here. We have Devon Achane. We have a lot of Devon Achane, actually. Jaylen Phillips, Jason Sanders, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, Raheem Mostert, Tua's there, Tyreek is there. So we're just going to go down the list here, and we're going to see which ones are the favorite props that you guys have. Ron, I'll start with you. Braxton Berrios, you have 13.5 receiving yards and 1.5 receptions. What do you think is the most likely to hit and why? You can choose whether you pick the less or more on that.
See, that's the thing, man. I've seen it where they brought in Berrios last year and they thought they were actually going to make him part of the offense, and he didn't get that. I mean, let's be honest. And now I think they accept that they brought him on here as some kind of security blanket for the situations we had, right? OBJ, they probably already knew about his injury. Obviously, the River Craycraft injury hadn't happened yet. They're a guy he knows. They trust him to be in the back there receiving kickoffs and especially punts that aren't going to be returned. I just don't know that he's really going to get involved in the offense. But, man, 1.5 and 13, that's so low. I guess I give it to him. I guess he will get both these. I just think it's going to be close. I just don't think he's going to have much involvement in the offense.
So you do think that he'll get at least 2 catches today?
Yeah, he'll get the 2 catches. I'm not even sure about the 13.5 yards. You know what? But he'll get the 2 catches.
All right. Eric, let's look at you, sir. We got Devon Achane. We got a lot of Devon Achane. We have 15.5. What's the longest rush? 22.5 rush yards in first 5 attempts, 13.5 fantasy score. Overall rushing yards, 54.5. Receiving yards, rush and receiving yards combined. Of all these props that they have on this list here, which one do you like the most for Achane?
So I spoke about the receiving yards in the prize picks show before this. So I'm gonna go with something else, just in the interest of giving the viewers a second option here. For a guy that averaged 8 yards a carry last year, 22.5 yards on the first 5 attempts just seems like it's entirely too low. Not that you can expect the guy to average 8 yards a carry consistently, but I think he goes over that pretty easily in today's ballgame.
All right, Duke, let's go to you, sir. We got Jaylen Phillips here. Do you think he gets a sack today or no?
I would go under on that just because I don't know what his playing time is going to look like. You seem to think he's going to have more. I think he's going to have less. So, I mean, they could scheme one up. He might get 1. He might get 3. He might not get enough reps for that. So I would stay away from that if it were me.
Well, the way that it works with Phillips that you can't pick the under, so just don't play that one then.
Yeah, so you just pick it or leave it.
Yeah, that's the way that the Devils and Goblins work. Like if you play Phillips and he does get a sack, you actually get more of a payout. So that's the bigger risk there. You got Jason Sanders on fantasy score and field goals made. Eric, do you think that this is a heavy field goal day for Sanders? At least 2 of them.
I wouldn't even call it a heavy field goal day. I just think that I think that both teams really are going to be scoring a lot. So I think the Dolphins are just going to be in Jaguars territory so much that even if they score a bunch, probably 2 of them are going to be field goals. Yeah, I'd go over on that. It's a nice day out.
All right. And lastly, we're going to do Jaylen Waddle. And there's so many players here. We can't get through all of them. Which one is your favorite? How about the Tua stuff? We'll end with the Tua stuff. Let's take a look at Tua's props here. We got plenty of them. So there's over 9 of them. Let's take a look at passing touchdowns, pass completions, passing yards, passing and rushing yards, et cetera, et cetera. Of all of these props here, gentlemen, I'm going to ask for one of each of you. Which one do you like the most? You can copy if you like. It's up to you. I'll go with you first, Ron.
So I'm trying to see it. What is his rushing yard? Does he have a rushing yards or only rushing?
Rushing yards. He has rushing yards. Rushing yards is 3.5.
Oh, take that. That's a freebie. There's your free square right there for the Dolphins.
You think he's going to run for at least 4 yards?
Yes, 100%. He's going to do it within the first drive, just to show, hey, I'm here to run. I'm a threat to run. Here's this little run. I'm going to go run 6 yards and slide. Yeah, it's going to happen. He didn't get trim just to hang around the pocket and take shots.
All right. Eric, what do you think? What's your favorite Tua prop?
My favorite Tua prop is really a McDaniel prop, and that's going to be over 33.5 passing attempts. This is a passing offense. McDaniel's going to do what he does. He's going to have Tua aired out today. I think we're looking at between 35 and 40 pass attempts for Tua.
And Duke, what's your favorite?
I cannot see them. What's the passing yards?
Passing yards is at 270.5, or if you want to play it safer, you can do 219.5. But that gives you less money. But that's kind of how the game works.
I would take the over. I think he's getting at least 300 yards today.
All right, fair enough. So we're going to stop here, and we're not stopping. We're stopping the prize picks. Now it's finally time. We're going to do our picks, the scores, predictions, all that good stuff, and then we'll be able to call it here. Duke, give me your score prediction, sir. What's going to happen, and what's the main factor here?
I think the game is going to be a little bit closer than what a lot of people are potentially expecting, but I think we have a defensive stop late, and we get an interception. Probably Jaylen Ramsey against his former team. And then the Dolphins punch in a touchdown to go up 2 scores. And I think the final score is 31-17.
All right, Ron.
Same thing I've been saying all week and that I snuck in into Pulse even though you didn't let us. Miami 42-24. I think they get up early and they just keep pressing.
All right, Eric.
I think we're looking at a shootout here. I have Miami 34-30, and we will see Tyreek Hill speeding into the end zone quite a bit today.
Oh, gosh. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go with a similar score here. I've got the Miami Dolphins winning. I think they're going to score at least 25 points. So I'll put them at Dolphins 28, Jaguars 24, and yes, Tyreek scores at least 1 touchdown, which is good for my props. All right. That's going to be it. Everybody, thank you all so much for joining us. The game starts in an hour. We will be with you guys for post-game content. We will be ready to talk about everything that we saw. The games count now. So now everything matters. So let's go ahead. We'll enjoy. Once again, use the promo code 5. That's FIVE, and they will match up to $50 when you put in that $5 bet in promotional funds. So you can enjoy on their dime if you feel like you have the confidence to go in there and win. I certainly do. Let's go ahead. Again, promo code 5, FIVE. Go ahead and sign up. Use that promo code and get $50 in promo funds for your first $5 bet. All right. That's it. We will see you all later. Until then.